Show is November 16th. I don't want my voice to start doing all the crazy stuff, so leave it alone, Tim. Let it say. Tim, these are your personal problems, sir. Stop telling us your personal problems. Man, how y'all feeling, man? Everybody okay? Everybody had a good weekend? Everybody all right? Hope everybody's all right, man. My man Buck say, Tim, stay out of the comment section, sir. Stay out of the comment section, sir. I'm trying to, fam. Well, this is the most dangerous night show in America that you tune into right here, and our job is to be dangerous. To be dangerous means to call out the nonsense. To be dangerous is to show how the Democrats have a meltdown over black voters, particularly black men, standing up for themselves and not going for the okie doke. They have the crying game, blacks. You notice there's no crying game, Latinos. Have you noticed this, brothers? Have you noticed this? Have you noticed there are no crying Latino men? Oh, arriba! Arriba, Joe Biden. None of that. No crying ass Asians. Oh, Kamala. None of it. None of it. I notice these things, man. I guess that's my job, to take note of what's bull. You know what I'm saying? Black women, have you noticed it? Have you noticed it, black women? Have you noticed that there are no cry? There's very few white women crying. Forget just gender. Let's go beyond gender. Have you noticed there are no white women going, oh, we really wanted Kamala. Have you noticed that? None of them doing the Van Jones, the Jonathan K. Parts. None of them having to fall on the sword, quite like D.L. Hughley. Oh, I believe in Kamala. I was wrong. I believe things I shouldn't believe, like my lying eyes. She didn't lock up as many people as I thought. She had a boyfriend named Willie, and she went to a HBCU. She was frying chicken in the bathtub. She wore an afro that time. She's not an end student. You know what I'm saying? Ends was ending. You know. She listened to Tupac and smoked weed. What else you want? What else you want? She put her baby daddy up on child support. What else she gotta do to be black? You realize the Democrats still haven't accepted the fact that Kamala lost? We have the first lady, the most powerful black woman, arguably top 5 powerful women in the world, Michelle Obama, still crying in her Rice Krispies over Kamala Harris losing. Still won't let it go, won't let the ghost go. Still chasing that Kamala high. And we all knew you Obamas didn't even like Kamala Harris. Why are you lying to us? Why is she lying to us? She ain't like Kamala? Barack Obama did not like Kamala Harris, guys. He did not want Kamala Harris to run for president. There's a saying called drag your feet. He put his feet in a wheelchair. He was in a wheelchair. And you need to vote. Get out here in campus you need to get you out here, Barack, and campaign for Kamala. He was, I don't know. I don't know if I can do it. Oh. Hurry up, Barack. The bus is leaving. I don't know. Michelle, help me with my legs. My legs won't move. I can't do it. Can't do it. Hold on, I'm coming. Hold tight. Hold the jet. I'm coming. Hey, Bryans, Give me some robot legs. She ain't gonna win. Why am I doing this? What's the point? You guys want some wings? Somebody bring out the tequila. This is a waste of time. Go build my library. Go build it. Shit. I'm trying to tell y'all, man, it's a bunch of gaslighting and lies. That's why tonight, America has reached its boiling point. America's tired of the bullshit. You know how I know America's tired of the bullshit? Y'all want to mess around and make me famous. That's why I know y'all crazy. Me? Man, I'm radically becoming very popular. I've been invited on 2 mainstream shows, but neither one wanted me in the capacity that I thought I should suggest that I should accept the invitation. I've been invited on 2, I'm not going to say mainstream, but I'll say right-wing type shows to argue, you know, that Jubilee shit. Amanda Seals there where you sit at the table and you got the 10 people and they do. There was one similar to that. They wanted to do like a knockout version. I turned it down because I want to do a one-on-one conversation. I want to have a real conversation with you. I don't want to come up here and be fodder for a bunch of morons. This ain't the Mandingo games. I don't want to fight a bunch of conservative black men and black women. What was Leo DiCaprio's character name in Django? What I look like? Coffee? What's his name? Coffee? Master Son, I forget his name. But you know what? I don't want to be in. I don't want to participate in that type of event. You know what I'm saying? Because I think it's exploitative. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to do that to black men. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I represent something. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm being goofy right here, right? But I feel like I represent something. And if I give away that to do that bullshit, I can't participate in these Mandingo games. Where is it at, man? And they talking about all types of shit. Django, how's your visit going? I don't know, shit. Man, I hate the fact this thing doesn't scroll, it doesn't keep up. Somebody knows his name. Calvin Candy, god damn it. All right, you know what? Who's that? Hey, Dark Matter. Dark Matter, email me, Dark Matter. Email me at tim@timberlandetv.com. I'll send you a free mug, Joe. On the house. That's right. On a goddamn house. So look, man. So I know America's at the boiling point because Black America particularly are at the boiling point. Because anytime they're willing to put a brother like me up in front, you know what I'm saying? Come on, man. The whites are also desperate. White America's also very desperate. They're trying to elevate little Nick Nazi Fuentes. So you know what's going on. You know there's a changing of the guard going on right now. Black people are tired of the Democratic Party and those people that have the ability, the guts to call it out, but you can't run up and be nipping at the ankle, licking the soles of Trump's shoes. That's what Brandon Tatum got wrong. That's what those conservative blacks who are anti-Democrat, they got that part right, but they're such ass kissers to the other side of the plantation. They dumb. They think they free. Well, he only beats us on Thursdays and Saturdays. I get to sleep in on Sunday, boss. He good to me. I say MAGA only beats me on Thursdays and Saturdays. Them Democrats get beat anytime mistress get mad. So that's what it is, man. America's at the boiling point. And it's about damn time, Johnson. Should have been at the boiling point. And anytime you're willing to elevate milk dud head like myself with radical views, rebellious, don't give a shit, calling out both sides of the coin, that's reckless. Tuning into the most dangerous show in America. And you're also willing to elevate someone like Nick Fuentes? Ooh. I do like it that we're bringing back dressing appropriately. I do like that part. Yeah, I do like that part. What's up with the quarter zip? What's up with the quarter zip for the YNs? And I don't mean it, I mean that affectionately. What's up with the quarter zip for my young brothers? Young kings. I've been hearing this trend. We ain't wearing no hoodies no more, Pops. Old school. We ain't doing hoodies no more. We doing quarter zippers. Oh, that's new, huh? My father used to wear quarter zips. That's some 70s shit. That's before my time. You talk like it's new. But that's how fashion is, man. Everything gets recycled. I just noticed it. It's a trend. People talking about it. It's all over TikTok. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Where Joy Reid at? Y'all seen Joy Reid? She went back to the Congo. What Joy Reid do? What did Joy Reid do? How's her YouTube channel going? Remember, she used to look down at independent people. Independent YouTube, independent commentator. Ugh. 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 Like they on the bus for the first time and shit. Remember when Roland and Joy Reid used to look down on us? Ugh. Sitting on the bus for the first time and shit, just, what is that? Trying to be all small, don't want nobody to touch her. Now she out here with us, independent in the mud. All on the YouTube. Her and Don Lemon, you see them? Both of them on the bus, right next to me. And I don't know, me and who else? I don't know. There are other names I will mention, but they don't be mentioning me. Why am I mentioning them, Johnson? Why I'm gonna give them love, man? So we got content tonight, man. We're gonna have a good time tonight. We're gonna tell some truth. We're gonna hurt some feelings, because that's what we do. You're watching the most dangerous show in politics. It is only dangerous because we're gonna tell the truth. Lying is not dangerous. Lying is very safe. When Alex Jones used to say they turned into frogs gay, that was not dangerous. That was cartoonish. You know what I'm saying? It's when you start telling truth. When you tell the truth, that's when you get dangerous. So that's what we plan to do tonight. We plan on being dangerous. So we got real issues facing Black Americans, Johnson. White Americans, you got real issues facing you too. If you stop worrying about Black people, you'd realize you got real problems too. Stop letting yourself be gaslit. Stop being gaslit by those in your group who want to put money in their pocket. That's all they're doing, making money off you. Using your emotions. They use your emotions plus your negative situation to extract money out of you in the form of viewership, right? In advertising revenue. The real issues facing Black Americans and white Americans, pretty much the same, right? Black people, we got real issues. We need not be concerning ourselves on the BS. We got housing. We got housing problems. Just in case anybody here is new, housing is the way America determines how well you're doing as a group. They don't look at who played basketball last season. They don't look at the actors in Hollywood. That's what liars do to try to distract away from all the mass black people that don't have money. They say, well, look at LeBron. Look at Oprah. No one goes, look at Woody Allen. Look at Bill Gates. You notice no white people go to poor white people and say, look at Bill Gates. Look at the guy that invented Gateway Computers. Look at the Walmarts. Look at this. Look at CVS. Because they know it'll be a white man over there with a shotgun going, what the hell about him? Clank, clank. I said, we need help here. We'll be outside waiting on you. But only us, they get to use that bullshit. You get what I'm saying? No one tries it with the whites. No one goes to the mountains of Kentucky. No one goes to the lows at Appalachia, to the poor whites in Mississippi, poor whites of Indiana, Idaho, Montana. No one goes to them and says, why? Look at the guy that invented the color blue. Probably some white dude who stole it from a black dude. White people do not go to other white people that are struggling and say, what about the rich white people? Because see, they know damn well those poor white people are going to react differently. Those poor white people will react, they'll be like, oh shit, I forgot. You mean they got money? Well, let's go see them. That's them poor whites start hatching plans to go get them rich people. They don't see them as representing. They see them as food. You understand what I'm saying? I'm going somewhere deep with this. This is the type of shit Torre should talk about. But instead, he'll duck me when I call him out in public. He'd rather go after Charlamagne all day. Look, I got no problems going after Charlamagne. But people like Torre, a couple people that work at the grill and the roof, they don't want to talk about real shit. What I'm doing right now is telling you about real shit. This should have been a column for very smart brothers. But it's sad. Instead it'll be, black men need to get themselves together. What I'm trying to tell you is, they're very selective. White people do not look at rich white people. Poor working class white people busting their ass, working 13-hour days, barely getting by. No one goes to them and says, but what about all the white directors that are making money? You need to be like them. Look at them. Those poor whites and working class white people do not look at rich white people and go, they're representing for us. The white people that look up to Elon Musk are just hoping that maybe they can get some of that money. That's what I'm trying to tell you. They do not look at him and go, oh, what an inspiration. See, black people do shit like that. We do that. We look at celebrity blacks and go, we got to ride for them and defend them. And then when they want us to be quiet about our conditions, our situations, which I'm going to bring up a lot of shit tonight, they like to throw those people in our face and say, why aren't you doing as well as them? Why aren't you doing as well as Isaac Hayes III? Look at him. He's got his own platform. We all know his ass would not have that platform if his daddy wasn't Isaac Hayes. Nigga do all this talking, all up, roll his ass cheeks. All this talking. The only reason why he got that platform is because his daddy did. So, I don't know why I put that in. I just thought I just say a name that we knew. So tired of seeing him on every other Roland video. But you know, Roland need the advertising dollars, so Lord knows I'm tired of hearing Roland complain about not getting advertising money. All right, guys, so here's the deal. Once upon a time, America, you looked at housing. Housing was the way we determined who was making it in America and who wasn't. The American dream was formulated through housing. It was through the home. The American home was the leverage and the bedrock of society. And that was a determining factor. If there was one determining factor, if you were going to have a successful household, and if your children will spring up out of a foundation of prosperity, it was owning a home. Since the 1950s, Black Americans haven't moved more than 2 percentage points up in the home ownership category. We were worth 40% of Black Americans in 1950, 1960 owned their own home. Fast forward to 2022, 40% of Black Americans own their own homes. Consequently, just suppose that to Latino Americans who didn't come here in large numbers until the 1960s because there was a law against it. So they couldn't really. There was limits. Had them on the tap, had a governor on that thing. Then an act came called the Naturalization Act, I think it was, the Immigration Naturalization Act, 1960, I think it was, and that opened the floodgates for immigration. But still, it's nothing like what we just saw with Joe Biden. The point is, they've been at like 50% Hispanic home ownership rate. Yes, they've surpassed Black Americans. 50% of Hispanic Americans own their own homes. White America, 50 years ago, was around 70% of white Americans own their own homes. And it's still upwards of 70%. So I point out these real issues with Black America because until you know where we are, we cannot plot a course on where to go. So when I'm bringing up the issues with the Democratic Party, instead of you saying, where are we going to go? We're going to do with the Republicans. What do they do for us? I'm showing you the Democrats aren't doing anything for you either. And the only way we're going to get something out of someone, out of that party that benefits us as a whole, is if we are aware of what's going on and we start demanding it. Nobody buys milk. No one will buy the milk if they got the cow sitting at home. Only a fool. So housing, wages, cost of living, crime in our communities, public schools, healthcare, and jobs disappearing. These are the areas in which we need to be super focused. Super focused. It's all about policies. It's not about personalities. Personality. They want us focused on personalities. And we got to get away from personalities. We got to lead with the policy. And that's what this show is all about. Exposing the bullshit, calling it out, keeping it real, and realigning how we see the world around us. In the areas of U.S. politics, breaking news, and Black culture. All right. So let's get into it, Johnson. We ready? Are we ready to get going, fam? Share this on in any platform that you're on. Share this on Facebook, on X, or on YouTube. Let's share it out. Let's let people know you're watching the most dangerous show in America. Tim Black Live. And nobody's safe. Nobody is safe. I'm ready, Johnson. Let's go. Woo! Did that thing work out, Johnson?
Next on deck with Tim Black.
This morning, a surge of federal agents arriving in Charlotte, North Carolina, in what the Trump administration is dubbing Operation Charlotte's Web. Federal agents seen making arrests around the city.
Usted me lo quiebra, usted me lo paga.
In one encounter here, masked agents smashing in the window of this car. That man inside telling our affiliate WSOC he was stopped twice Saturday morning, but was released both times after showing proof he's a U.S. citizen.
Give me your status. Give me your papers. Say, why? Open the door. Say, I not open the door.
He says he's now sustained injuries throughout his body after agents pulled him from the vehicle and moved him to the ground.
I got pain. It's not terrible, but I got pain.
The Department of Homeland Security officially announcing the operation Saturday, saying it's targeting, quote, criminal illegal aliens. Crowds taking to the streets in protest as residents voice their frustration.
This is not right.
It comes after similar operations in cities like Los Angeles and Chicago have at times turned violent. Officials in North Carolina now urging calm. The state's Democratic Governor Josh Stein telling residents to follow the law, and if you see any inappropriate behavior, use your phone to record and notify law enforcement. And sources tell ABC News this operation is supposed to be short and that Border Patrol is eyeing New Orleans as their next city after Charlotte. Altogether here, the Trump administration has made nearly 500,000 arrests nationwide. That's according to DHS Secretary Kristi Noem. And while they have said that they are targeting the worst of the worst, about 2/3 have convictions or pending criminal charges.
Why are y'all doing that?
What the fuck, guys?
He was ready for them.
Yeah, and what was he doing?
Obviously, he was actually illegal.
He was what?
What?
Illegal.
How do you know?
Exactly.
Excuse me.
How do you know?
Exactly.
He just admitted it. That's what we do interviews, ma'am. We do interviews.
¿Sabes cuál país eres, señor? ¿Tú eres ciudadano americano?
Soy agente federal de los Estados Unidos.
Somos agentes federales, señor, aquí para enforzar las leyes de inmigración.
Good morning.
Señor. Señor.
Homeowner mad as hell. He's like, look, I hired them to do my line. Leave them alone. Pick them up after they finish working.
Get the hell out of my yard, you assholes.
Exactly. In the name of Jesus.
Hey friends, Drew Reisinger here, just wanting to check in. I'm seeing a lot of information coming from North Carolina officials saying that immigration raids might be starting as early as Saturday. ICE officials are specifically coming to terrorize communities of color, and I think it's really important that we call it what it is. Let's not pretend that these guys are coming here to help us with our crime rates. Crime rates in Charlotte, we know, are on the decline. Crime rates in Asheville are on the decline. So let's be real, they're not coming to help us, and we need to protect our immigrant communities.
In Trump's extreme immigration crackdown, the Department of Homeland Security officially announcing its latest operation in Charlotte, North Carolina, and they are calling it Operation Charlotte's Web. MS Now just received this statement from DHS Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin, reading in part, quote, "We are surging DHS law enforcement to Charlotte to ensure Americans are safe and public safety threats are removed." Joining us now is Pulitzer Prize-winning staff writer for The Atlantic, Caitlin Dickerson. Also with us is MS Now contributor and friend of the show, Paula Ramos. She's the author of Defectors, The Rise of the Latino Far Right and What It Means for America. Caitlin, it's great to have you here on the show. I'm going to start with you and begin with your reaction to Operation Charlotte's Web. Bovino, I guess, leaving Chicago, now turning his sights to North Carolina.
My reaction is that the administration, it seems to be having a lot of fun with this. They're not slowing down at all. And, they've already deported more than 500,000 people. That's a huge number. And they've promised that those numbers are only going to increase. They're only going to accelerate more. At the same time that we're seeing so many troubling aspects of this crackdown. I mean, not just deportations that the public thinks have gone too far and that they're targeting people who've lived in the United States for years or decades, who have American-born children, but also U.S. citizens being swept up. The governor in North Carolina suggested that the public look out for inappropriate behavior by CBP and film if that happens. But the reality is that could get you pepper sprayed at this point, right? That's what's happening simply to people who are trying to hold the agency accountable. So I think it makes sense that Charlotte, the community there, is really worried that people are hunkering down and full of fear. I think as they should be, based on what we've seen so far.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but Charlotte is a blue city in a red state, which is very consistent with this administration in the way that it is going after blue cities, Democratic cities, Portland, LA, Chicago, and now Charlotte. Even when they deployed the National Guard, it was to DC and Memphis in red states. I mean, obviously Tennessee, red state, but same with North Carolina. It's a red state, but they're going after the blue city.
Exactly. I mean, it's the formula we already know. It's a Democratic stronghold. Remember that in 2012 they had the National Convention.
Yeah.
Huge black and brown population, over 150,000 people just in Charlotte are foreign born. But I think the question then is, to your point, so what does this next iteration look like? Now, what does it mean to escalate, given everything we know, given everything we've seen in Chicago?
You're going to notice a lot. There's going to be a lot of conversation that includes black and Latino, black and Hispanic, black and brown. When we got nothing at all to do with this, we are American citizens. We are born in America. We're native to this land. We are indigenous to this land. Black Americans are Americans. U.S. Americans, black Americans. And still, in order to make their claims, they're going to conflate the two. Because everything's got to be tied to black Americans. So as you watch this, as you listen more, I'm going to ask you this. I'm going to ask all my people to do this. Isn't it only fair that if you're going to use black pain and tie black people to Latino Americans or Latinos or Latino immigrants or migrants, Hispanic folks, shouldn't we also benefit from the programs that are only going to go to those people? I mean, since you're using us to make pleas to the public, using black to do it, to make a plea to make your argument, you're using black America, though we benefit not from these programs that are going to specifically be for migrants. Those migrants will definitely 100% not include black Americans. No programs that are for migrants will include us. Finito. De nada. But as you listen to this program, as you listen to this new MS Now Prime clip, you're going to hear that used. You're going to hear the term black come up way too often for me. We shouldn't come up at all. If you're talking about women's sports, you would not be bringing up men's sports. You're talking about being a vegetarian, you wouldn't be bringing up pork sandwiches. What do we got to do with it? Nothing. We're being used.
in LA, in Portland. What does a breaking point look like? But then there's the other side of the story, which you do so well in your reporting, which is this is just a distraction, right? Immigration enforcement has been going on in North Carolina since the beginning, right? What the numbers show you is that since Donald Trump was in office, immigration arrests in North Carolina have increased by 162%, right? They've more than doubled since January. What that also shows you is that the story isn't just these massive ICE raids, it's the way in which this immigration machine is quietly already operating. Most of these arrests that are taking place in North Carolina are happening this way, which is these partnerships between local law enforcement and ICE agents. And so the story isn't what we're used to talking about. It's not what the cell phones are capturing. It's the way in which this quiet machine is operating in a very effective and efficient way.
Well, Caitlin, that's in your searing story, which you start out, in a Virginia courtroom and talking about almost just how normal this has gotten and how quick and swift, and a Virginia father who was upset that he would be deported and have to leave his 5-year-old son, and you struggle to locate him over the course of your reporting. But you point out that the viral incidents actually aren't exceptions. That's the norm, which is so scary. So let's talk about that story.
Sure. Yeah. Paula said it exactly right when she said that what's happening right now is very quiet. So it looks loud, right? There's this chaos and these clashes that are happening in the streets, but the very efficient movement of people through these courts without legal representation, without access to their family members who can present evidence before the court to try to help them fight, all of that is happening very far from public view. Some of it through these partnerships with police that Paula mentioned, also in these massive detention facilities. Most people right now are being housed in places like Georgia and Louisiana and Texas, places where there is no press, where there are no protests, and where people don't really have access to due process right now. So I sat in that Virginia courtroom because I wanted to just kind of get a sense of what a day in this world and Trump's immigration crackdown looks like. And I saw case after case of the kind that has gone viral, people who've become household names. Those types of stories were almost a dime a dozen in this court, but we were not hearing about them because, remember, on top of everything that we've mentioned, this crackdown is targeting people who don't feel comfortable in many cases broadcasting their stories, who have fear, who maybe have other family members who are worried about being.
You got other family members that are worried about being deported because they themselves are also illegal. Tim, there are no illegal people. These are people with warrants to be deported. I'm gonna call them illegal. That's what I'm gonna call them. They're here illegally. They are here illegally. People that are illegally here. So they don't want to report. They don't want their families to be involved. We kind of get mixed up here. They don't want their families to be involved. They don't want to bring attention to themselves. Then you're saying they're doing it in the shadows. How are they doing it in the shadows if they want to quietly leave and so not to get other people deported? It doesn't make sense what you're saying.
Swept up. And so the reality is that this crackdown is moving so quickly, it's just impossible for us to keep up and to really grapple with the full scope of it in this moment.
Paula, the thing that I keep coming back to that we've talked about pretty much every time we've had you on the show is that even in the viral moments that have been captured that are horrifying, like, for example, the case in Chicago where a man says that he and his 1-year-old child were pepper sprayed, just horrifying footage of this little child.
Did they pepper spray the child or did they pepper spray dad? I mean, I'm a guy that notoriously go after cops. But I'm just saying, did they pepper spray dad? Who would not put the child down? Why did they pepper spray dad? Just saying. Not siding with the cops, just asking a question. Because I'm wondering how much resistance could a 1-year-old give that they would get pepper sprayed? We're getting into the weeds. Let's keep going.
Crying because they've been basically the victim of state-sanctioned child abuse. Even when those things do come in public view, unlike all of these invisible cases, there still isn't the same overwhelming public rejection of these events. When the child separation policy happened, and I know you covered that exhaustively in the first administration, it was among the most unpopular things that had ever been polled on in the history of polling of all major policies. There was this massive unified public out.
Jesus Christ, they're long-winded. Does anybody get to the point, or does everyone just do word salad? Jesus.
Outcry that Americans were unwilling to tolerate this, again, effective state-sanctioned child abuse of children, even if they were foreigners. You know, that maybe Americans had some reservations about having the foreigners invading our country. And somehow we're past it. I don't know how to reconcile that moment in American history with the one that we have now.
So the last time we talked, Antonia said something along the lines of, will Americans forget? No, where does the memory go? I've been thinking about it, because I think perhaps Americans will forget, but the people that will not forget are the young Latinos like that kid that will grow up. And I think we're about to see a very similar pattern that we saw during Joe Arpaio's era in Arizona, where there was this generation of young Latinos that are carrying this intergenerational trauma based literally on the images that we're seeing now, that have seen their parents being criminalized, that have felt it during Trump's first administration. They're feeling it now again. 5-10 years from now, those are the Latinos that will then turn that rage and that anger and that trauma into political power, because those were the Latinos in Arizona.
Let me get this right. Let me just walk with me here, people. I'm trying to make a point here. Try to flesh this out in real time. Is this woman saying that children of parents who came into our country the wrong way, that's what they did. They did this because they thought they could make more money here in America. They made a choice to do something that was illegal. They know it, we all know it. Americans look the other way because they have no problems exploiting workers who are here illegally by paying them less, hiring people and paying them less. Fine, this is why it's been allowed. I'm not trying to demonize the people, but I gotta say, Johnson, you mean to tell me you think that those children, when those parents are finally kicked out, you're saying the poor children are gonna be traumatized and blame America, and they're gonna walk around they're gonna have this trauma from this experience of their parents being brought to justice? I think we're misunderstanding what trauma is. When a black person was tied to a tree by a mob of racist white people and lynched, tortured, set afire, pieces of them cut off, unspeakable things done to them, alive. And then in death, the whole town watched, postcards sent. That's trauma. Thousands of black people literally executed publicly. That's trauma. And nobody gives a shit about that. You don't even want me to bring that up. But you mean to tell me, it just seems like you're kind of equating the two. No one cries a river for black people when somebody come get daddy. When the cops come get daddy and put daddy in jail because daddy got warrants, or when mama get picked up on the driving on the way to school, no one goes, oh, the trauma. No, the trauma that the children are gonna feel that daddy just got locked up. No one does that. They could be a veteran. They could be a citizen with all this, everything, just owe a little bit of money somewhere. They owe money. That's their problem. They didn't even break into the country. They owe money to something, typically. Or they have committed a nonviolent crime, which is most of the people that are incarcerated in America. You're not discussing that trauma. That trauma doesn't matter. But this segment is dedicated to the trauma that people are suffering, seeing other people being caught, finally caught, doing the thing they know they did, knowingly did it. Knowing they did it. Not, and not the children who were born here by those people, since they were born here, they're now citizens, but the parents who did the thing that they knew was illegal to do, they just didn't give a shit. Now that they're finally caught, you're saying those children are gonna suffer the Trump, what? Folks, I gotta call bullshit on this. I gotta call bullshit, and I gotta say, it is an insult. It is insulting to Black Americans with the history that we have in this country for them to cry river. You know, they say that Black Americans, we went through our Holocaust. Part of the reason is we're survivors. It's part of the reason. And as I look at these temperamental people here, and I look at their faces over this, I gotta say, I see why Black people were chosen, because we have survived. We are very resilient. These are the faces of people that I guess, I don't think they can survive shit, is what I'm trying to say. They can't even survive roosters coming home to roost. They can't even survive Leroy getting caught up on his warrant. They can't even survive this person finally bench warrant being served. These people are not going to Hades. They're not being executed, rounded up, and shot down. These people are going home. They're real home. These people are not being decapitated. They're not losing limbs, being hung by trees. They're going home. That's it. Not being set ablaze. They're not going into a room, thinking they're taking a shower. These people are just having to go home. That's it. That's all.
That were responsible for turning that state from a purple state into, from a red state into a purple state. And so they will be the ones that will not forget.
But what about the red? We're all human.
Yeah, please don't forget. Take a picture, write this shit down. It's not the end of your life if you can't stay a place you're snuck into. It is not the end of your life. It's not the end of your children's lives. You won. You wanted to come live in America. Your children get to be American citizens, and they are. You won. You don't get to win everything, but you just won that, I will say.
Like, I don't understand how people can watch this footage.
Well, you have to remember that, they're watching, there's actually sort of a battle, a sort of image and aesthetic battle happening in the immigration sphere as well. So while we have governors like J.B. Pritzker saying, please take out your phones, record what's happening, ICE is going out with cameramen making content.
Yes.
DHS is putting out propaganda.
Because it's not illegal to deport you, to pick you up and arrest you. America's been doing it for quite some time, sister.
With filters. And so there are two stories of this. And, there are Americans who are rightfully outraged by what we just showed on our screen, a baby
and some
crying from, yes, and it's relishing it.
Baby crying because daddy would not let baby go, obviously, and he got pepper sprayed. It's this baby is right there who he would not let go. They're exposed to the pepper spray. I want to see the film to see the officer spraying the baby. Maybe dad thought he wouldn't get pepper sprayed if he just held on to the baby. That what you talking about? She take acting classes? What's going on here, Johnson?
They believe they're engaged in some kind of holy war. Caitlin, both of you have covered this for so long, but have you ever seen the federal government send out its own reality TV production force alongside the rest of the immigration apparatus?
In my lifetime, no, but there's definitely precedent for propaganda, very heavily racially coded propaganda to support efforts like the one that we're in right now. I mean, I think a couple of things about both of your questions. One thing to keep in mind with family separations, as someone who covered that from the very beginning, and by the way, you did too, it took a while. It took a while for the public to actually wrap their minds around what was happening, because in the beginning it was confusing. Even though I was writing in the New York Times very specifically, people's photographs and their names and their stories saying that they had their children taken away from them. For many months, the administration said that was untrue. And so it took time for the public to really believe and see the volume of.
Were you talking about under the Obama era? Is that what you're talking about?
What was happening. And I also think there are a lot of misconceptions that are coming to a head right now. I actually got a really helpful email from a reader yesterday who was asking me, Caitlin, if all these people in your story have been in the United States for as long as you say they have, why didn't they just become citizens? Like, if they really want to contribute so much to this country, why don't they do that and pay taxes? What this person didn't realize, and what a lot of people don't realize right now, is that there is no legal way to do that. I mean, these are folks being targeted right now who've been waiting since the George W. Bush administration. Every president since then has considered legislation, except for Trump, to give them a pathway to legal status, but it hasn't come. And so I think there are lots of questions, why aren't these folks contributing when in fact they are? Undocumented immigrants contribute billions of dollars in taxes every year. They're employed at higher rates than U.S. born Americans.
Thank you. In fact, guys, I played that whole clip just to get to that part for real. In fact, folks, I played this entire clip, well, the majority of the clip, a portion of it. I played it just to get to that part. Because when I say this, black liberals, black progressives, black Democratic voters, right? When I say this, they deny it. They all deny that I'm standing on firm ground here. They deny what I'm saying about Black Americans and jobs. Remember what we talked about, the things that must be important to Black America if we are to get off the bottom in this country. Housing, wages, cost of living, crime in our communities, public schools, healthcare, jobs disappearing, and cost of living. Wages and jobs, very important. And this lady just stated, she wasn't thinking about what she was saying, she just said it. They're employed at higher percentages than everybody else. So now you either have to admit that you're trying to say that Black Americans don't want to work, that we are lazy and shiftless, which plays into racial stereotypes, which are propaganda that are spread about Black Americans, who were never considered lazy until we got our freedom and didn't have to work for free. We were lazy, we were hardworking when we were working as property. But once we got freedom and you had to pay us, then we became lazy and shiftless. But according to her own admission, undocumented people work more often than regular Americans, than American citizens. What about Black Americans? What about Black America?
Undocumented immigrants contribute billions of dollars in taxes every year. They're employed at higher rates than U.S. born Americans. Undocumented immigrants contribute billions of dollars in taxes every year. They're employed at higher rates than U.S. born Americans.
Should that be the case? Should it be the case that undocumented people are employed at higher rates than U.S.-born citizens? It does not take a rocket scientist to figure out why. Because they could pay them less or pay them under the table. And they have no protections, no safety considerations. Who knows what type of violations they deal with on the job? Because they have no rights. They're not U.S. citizens. They don't want to call a cop. They don't want to bring any attention to themselves or to the other family members who may also be undocumented. See, this is a reality that everybody wants to somehow run from. We got a lot of scared black intellectuals, many scared black intellectuals, many cowardly black journalists who will not admit this very obvious fact that this woman is attesting to, and she defends the undocumented. She's defending them right now. And at the same time, she's indicting them. And I want to thank you, sister. I appreciate your honesty. I can never get Angela Ryan, Tiffany Cross, Bakari Sellers, and Van Lathan, and Van Jones, and Joy Reid, and Don Lemon, and any of these people, and Roland Martin, to admit these very simple facts. Because they want to discredit people like me. They want to discredit Tim Black and say Tim Black just don't like Latino. He hate Hispanic people. He's xenophobic. Now, I'm actually, unlike Roland, who says he's fighting for black people, how can you be fighting for black people if you're not pointing this shit out, man? When wages and job security, wages and jobs disappearing are two of the 5 most important things to black Americans. How can you say that you're standing up for black Americans if you're not talking about the people that are taking, but per capita, the people that are, on average, more highly employed than we are, who should not be? They're illegal, they're undocumented people. How could you say that you're fighting for black America? In fact, folks, I will go so far to say this and put my name on it. Spell my name right when you repeat this. You cannot say that you advocate for black Americans if you are unwilling to deal with the immigration issue and if you are unable to be critical of our immigration policy and support deportations in a stiffer border. You cannot, I repeat, you cannot claim that you advocate for black Americans, Mark Lamont Hill. You cannot claim that you advocate for black Americans, Roland Martin. You cannot claim that you advocate for black Americans, black families, if you will not say the truth about what is an issue for us that impacts black families. This Latinos, this Hispanic sister just laid it out for you. Now, either she's a liar. I remember when I had Dr. Derek Hamilton on the show. He said there was no credible evidence that proved that undocumented people, that their employment negatively impacted black Americans. Well, you need to call her a liar, Dr. Derek Hamilton. I have friends, many friends in this business. Well, many friends who have been friends in my show who all of a sudden got very gun shy with me as I go down this road, because this is a third rail, because though they are black, they are committed to the Democratic Party and to be in good graces with the Democratic Party. You can't say this type of shit. You can't tell the truth about black people. They want your vote, but they do not want your best interest. You cannot say that you advocate for black Americans. Insert name of black American. Commentator, journalist, writer, activist. If you are unafraid to point out and be critical of our immigration policy, particularly that under Joe Biden, either this woman here is a liar, and you need to condemn her in the worst possible way, this writer from the New York Post or New York Times, or you got to admit your brother Tim Black is standing on solid ground. It's one or the other.
So many people I meet who cross the border into the United States have jobs within 48 hours. So I think that it's going to take time for these misconceptions to
Is this thing on? Is this thing on? She said, so many people that I meet in this work that I do, they have jobs within 48 hours of being in America. Whose job? If those people were not here, who would get that job?
to be kind of proven untrue for the public to really understand as well.
Tim Black's BS detector.
Tim Black's BS detector.
Tim Black's BS detector.
Okay, guys, as they point out to us, as they gaslight us about the plight of the undocumented people that are illegally in this country and what they're dealing with, and now what's on the front burner of the stove is what's happening in North Carolina, particularly the Charlotte-Mecklenburg County area. I would like to point out, now that everybody is all up in arms about people being arrested and being separated from their families and being incarcerated, what have you, I would like to bring to your attention Black America, ladies and gentlemen, Black America. Black Americans represent 1/3 of the people locked up in Mecklenburg County since 2011 through 2021. I did not see any of these people at this table, at that table there in MS Now, in these broadcasts that are complaining about Black Americans in Charlotte, incarcerated at almost 3 times the rate. The county demographic context, Black or African Americans make up 30% of Mecklenburg County's population. Note, the Black Hispanic populations, they're excluding those. In fact, when I went to retrieve this data, folks, I found it very difficult to get data that separated Black from Hispanic, because not just in our journalists or in our commentators, Black and Hispanics are fused. But when programs and initiatives are handed down to help migrants, that doesn't include us. But when it comes to data, they want to include us. So you got to stipulate to separate the two. Black men accounted for 33% of CMPD traffic stops compared to 22% for white men. Black people, 30% of Mecklenburg County's population, but 47% of the arrests. Black people were, 5.7 times more likely to be arrested for low-level, nonviolent offenses than white Americans. 5.7 times. These are things that I find appalling. But notice they're not appalling because we don't have a complexion for the protection from the collection. We can't make a panel where a bunch of Latinos are complaining about our situation because we're not migrants. We're not undocumented. And when we do have Black Americans that do have panels, they're very quick to start bringing in Hispanics and bringing in Latino folks when they're not a part of this discussion. See what I'm saying? So we got cowardly Black activists who instinctively know they can't advocate for Black Americans without a bunch of whiplash or backlash. So they're quick to include other groups. But those other groups don't include us. And when those other groups are advocating for themselves, which only makes sense, and I do not begrudge them that. I get it. We need to do the same thing they're doing, advocate on behalf of ourselves. But when we do that, what do? We demonize those who advocate on behalf of ourselves. I don't see any Latino people demonizing the 5 people that we just showed in that video clip who are advocating for Latino Americans or Hispanics or undocumented Hispanics or undocumented Latinos. Nobody's going to demonize them and call them nationalist or racist for supporting them. But they'll do that to me. Why? Haven't called anybody filth, dirt, or any derogatory terms. Let's keep going. Crime reduction units are something that operates in the Charlotte, Mecklenburg area. They're called the CRUs. 90% of the people that are arrested in the Westover division by the CRU were Black. Not undocumented. Not undocumented Hispanics. 90%. I wonder if they're targeting those people. How do you pick up 90% of something unless you're looking for 90% of you're looking for those people? It's statistically impossible to get 90% of something without shooting for that. That had to be your focus. In Metro Division, the CRU, the Crime Reduction Unit, 98% of the people arrested were black. Once again, fam, sounds like they're fishing in a barrel. A black barrel. Now, 84% of people stopped by the CRUs were black. 83% of the people searched by CRUs were black. Once again, did not make the list. Remember, I'm bringing up North Carolina, Charlotte particularly, in Mecklenburg County, which is the county where Charlotte resides, because right now Donald Trump or the Trump administration has deployed ICE to that area. In North Carolina, Charlotte area is the area that we're highlighting. So when we look at North Carolina itself, family, we're looking at 3.7 times higher. Black people are incarcerated 3.7 times higher rate than white Americans. No one complained. No one says, oh my God. You know, these same people that are complaining about the undocumented people, remember, people that are not in this country legally, we're supposed to feel that they're being subjected to a torturous prosecution, that they're not getting their rights served, they're not getting due process for being removed from a country that they did not come into legally. Meanwhile, while they're crying a river, these Democrats and everybody at that table was a Democrat. Meanwhile, while these pundits make the case that these laws and that ICE are trampling on the human rights of undocumented people. Meanwhile, black people are almost 4 times more likely to go to jail for basically just being black in North Carolina. And there's silence. It's radio silence. Folks, for us to understand what we need to do next, we got to understand what's going on now. Not MS now, but right now. All right, fam. I want to keep it moving. To the next. We'll move on to part 2, but I want you to know right now you're watching the most dangerous politics show in America, fam, because nobody else is really telling the truth. No one else is willing to go after Republicans and the Democrats and actually advocate and speak truth to power on these issues. Become a member of the Tim Black Show, where you get access to all our content. We do 40 live streams. We do 20 live shows a month. For a week, we put out countless content. We put out ebooks and all other types of content, digital downloads. We work our asses off, frankly. And become a VIP and get access to that whole vault of information that we have. Go to patreon.com, Tim's Take Live. Join timblack.com. I've been working with them. Someone said they had problems getting there using that forwarder that takes you to my Patreon. We're only talking about $5 a month to join us. The Politics for the People mug. If you want to support us as well, want to be a part of the VIP club, go to timblackmug.com. Pick up your mug for $20. That includes shipping. We're trying to build something here that's on the foundation of telling the truth, Johnson. That's it. That's all. Don't let them gaslight you. We have a right to advocate for ourselves. Obviously, no one else will, unless there's something in it for them. And even then, I don't trust them, because there are too many doors that the powers that be will close on you if you go hard in the paint for Black America. You can go hard in the paint for the migrants. No doors will be shut in your face. It's when you advocate for us that it becomes a problem. Even us, even Black Americans turn their back on Black Americans will not amplify Black Americans who tell the truth about immigration. Because that's the third rail for the Democratic Party. That's what they're hoping will sustain them as a political force. All right, guys. Can we keep going? Wow. Who's in the building, Johnson? Who's in the building? Oh, man. There it is. There it is right there, Johnson. They're quick to say black in the headline, but black and brown in the fine print. Yep. Yep. And what I'm pointing out here, it's as if they want us to believe that we have a shared fate. We have a shared fate, but that's not true. It's just not true. Folks, particularly in this immigration issue, fam, particularly in this, right? Even more so, because the programs that are being set up to help the undocumented immigrants, we don't qualify for any of that shit. It's not about it's not about race, right? Or, it's about you being undocumented, right? We don't qualify for anything from it, but they use us to try to secure those programs. What a slap in the face that is. You get where I'm going with that? That makes sense to you? You're going to use your name to get the money, and then when they get the money, you don't get any of it. This is call a thing a thing. That's a bait and switch. It's worse. We are a receptacle. We will not be whored around by the Democratic Party. They're continuing slavery in another name. Because they're using our name, they're using our pain and suffering, our likeness, to work for them. But they're not paying us. We're working for free. Our pain is being showcased for free. And we get nothing out of it. Not only is it righteous to call it out, I feel it's mandatory. And if you're not calling it out, it's a dereliction of business. You're not standing on business. Thank you for the comment, Ursa. Thank you, Ursa. Let's move on to part two. I know, fam, right? 2 hours. We got to do part two, though. See what we got here.
Next on deck with Tim Black.
I think there's a lot of paid social media influencers. Mm-hmm. And I found it very interesting that they were the MAGA accounts, but they're all paid, and they all attacked me when I announced I was coming to join you ladies on The View. And I think that's very weak and pathetic. But when I talk about weak Republican men, I'm pretty much talking oftentimes about the leadership in the House and the Senate, and they're not getting our agenda done.
The president said the reason that you have been critical of him is not necessarily Epstein, but because he pushed you not to run for the Senate or for governor in Georgia. How and when did he do that?
Well, that is absolutely not true. Actually, I never had a conversation at all with the president about running for Senate or running for Georgia. And those were decisions I came to on my own that I don't want to have anything to do with the Senate. I think the past 2 months of the government shutdown should have shown America exactly why I would never want to be there. I think it's a very broken institution that serves the uniparty and doesn't serve the American people and how they vote. And I decided that I didn't want to run for governor this cycle either. I very much want to do the job that I'm in. Everyone else says I'm running for something, but all I want to do is serve Georgia's 14th district, and I'm very grateful for that opportunity.
Are there people that actually believe that a politician has no eyes set on the next seat or the next rung? Are people really that dumb to believe that? I'll tell you one thing that Marjorie Taylor Greene has done is she's proven that she's not as dumb as she may appear to be, that she does understand how the game is played.
I stood with President Trump when virtually no one else did, campaigned all over the country, spent millions of my own dollars helping him get elected, and I think that's incredibly important. And I do support him and his administration, and I support them in delivering the campaign promises we made to the American people. His remarks, of course, have been hurtful. However, I have something in my heart that I think is incredibly important for our country, and that is to end the toxic fighting in politics. And this has been going on for years, and it has divided our country, split up friends and families, neighbors, and it's not solving our problems. The most hurtful thing he said, which is absolutely untrue, is he called me a traitor, and that is so extremely wrong. And those are the types of words used that can radicalize people against me and put my life in danger.
What do you think happened? What do you think is the reason for this?
Unfortunately, it is all.
Here's some tea for you. MTG, people are like, oh my God, she's saying all of these things. Like, what's gotten into her lately? Oh, like she's bucking against Trump. She's bucking against the administration. Marjorie Taylor Greene wanted to run for Senate in Georgia. She wanted to run for Senate earlier this year in the state of Georgia. She wanted to be the Republican nominee for Senate. So she was gearing up for that statewide race, and Trump told her no. Trump said no. And the White House and Trump land shut down Marjorie Taylor Greene's personal ambitions to run for Senate. And she has been on a revenge tour ever since.
I do think AOC is a fraud. I absolutely believe she's a fraud. She came in hard. Remember when she came in, she protested, Nancy Pelosi, led a protest in her office against leadership. She was supposed to be the one to change the Democrat Party. She's fallen totally in line. She voted 100% for the Ukraine war, voted to fund all of that, sending funding, weapons, everything. With her amendment, she exposed herself to be a liar about demanding the end of the genocide in Gaza. So she's exposed herself, and her base is seeing it. But I think that's interesting.
Technically true, based on what I've heard and what I know, that he didn't tell her not to run. But what she didn't say was that he sent her a poll privately, discreetly, and it had information in it. And it showed her down 20 points to John Ossoff. And so in politics, when you want to send a message to someone that you like or that has been an ally, you don't embarrass them publicly. You privately send them information and show them what the reality is. And so I think it's true that he didn't tell her not to run, but it's also true that he did her a big favor, which is to show her information that a candidacy statewide in Georgia for her would have been a disaster.
Congresswoman, thank you for being here.
I passed a great, big, beautiful bill, which is the biggest tax cuts in the history of our country. So when somebody like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's now catering to the other side, I don't know what, I guess she's, got some kind of vernacular, but I'm surprised at her. But when somebody like Marjorie goes over and starts making statements like that, it shows she doesn't know. I don't devote a lot of my time. Let me give you another example. China.
Next on deck with Tim Black.
Yo, So who's telling the truth about Marjorie Taylor Greene, or who's telling the truth about what's going on with Democrats, Republicans, Vanessa? Like, look, America, we're smart enough. We've been around. We understand. We get what's going on here, right? Okay, here goes my opinion, and this is just based on me being in politics and covering this shit for a while. I believe that AOC and Marjorie Taylor Greene are the same person. And what I mean by that is they understand how the rules are played. They understand what you need to do in order to get ahead, and they're all petty. It's very petty. It's not unheard of for someone to get ticked off and then go against you and backstab you in politics. It's the most political thing there is. It's the most obvious play there is, that Trump did not support something she wanted to do after she just told you I went all around the country for the guy. I mean, she's talking into a mic that's recording her words. And still, it's like, let's not remember what she said. She just said she went all over the country and spent millions of dollars out of her own campaign money to support him. You think she did that just because she liked his smile? Trump's 300 pounds and 20 years older than her. She's not interested sexually. Let's get that out the way, okay? She's not Trump. Mr. McDonald's, shaped like the M of the McDonald's sign. She's not trying to get at him, okay? She was doing that to help her own career. Why do it if not to help oneself? She went around the country supporting Trump, helping him get elected, hoping that he was going to be the next thing that would help propel her. And then what does he do? He makes it, and then he goes, you need to shut up. No, you can't run for Senate. I won't back you. I won't support you. I will not give you my blessing. I will not endorse you. And then she shits on him. Folks, it doesn't mean she's wrong to call out the Epstein stuff. She should. But typically what happens in politics has very little to do with what's wrong or right, or what's ethical, what's fair. If that's the case, black people would have reparations long time ago. If fairness had anything to do with anything. Human trafficking, we spend the same amount of money we spend on them electric cars, we spend that to actually end human trafficking in this country. You know how much money we spend to end human trafficking in this country? About the same amount of money we spend studying snails. We don't spend a lot of money on it, Johnson. We just don't. It's a slither of the budget. Okay? I mean, if a little guy like Tim Black with a little media company, I've been in the same situation where you help somebody, but if you don't help them enough, if you don't help them as much as they think you should help them, you become their enemy and they want to do everything to destroy you. This is what happens in the business. It doesn't mean you're a saint. It doesn't mean I was a saint. But yeah, you are a backstabber. That was the next thing. She said, he called her a traitor. You are a traitor. It's okay. You don't owe him anything. You don't work for him. You work for America. You never should have been on this team. You should have been on the side of the people to begin with to be a traitor. To be a traitor means you were once upon a time signed up for this guy, and you shouldn't have been. You should have never been. And that's this whole thing. So AOC and MTG, they are the same person in that regard. They know how the game is played, and they're playing the game. And whether you agree with it, I agree. Let the Epstein documents come out. Let it rain, let it rain. Let's find out exactly what happened. I want to put this thing to bed. Let's just go ahead and get it all out. It's way past due. Get to it. What she said about AOC is true. She was kissing Nancy Pelosi's ass big time. Totally contradicting everything she's supposed to have ran on. And her followers, believers, supporters were very salty about it. And continue to be so. She's become what? A darling of the Democratic Party. And that's not what she came in saying she was. She's a democratic socialist. So yeah, that's what I think about Marjorie Taylor Greene. I had a clip where Jasmine Crockett was talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene, and it was just so word salady. I figured, why even play it? Why even play it? I don't even, I won't even dole you with it. You'll be bored. You'll leave probably. But yeah. You want to give her props for saying the right things, but these are just words. Do the right things. Don't just say the right things, do the right things. Whatever those things are, you do. And people should be judged by deeds, not by words, and that goes for everyone. That's both sides of the aisle. So whether you agree with her or not, let's see what she does. But the game is obvious. What to lean into is obvious. She's going against Israel. Oh no, that's not unique. It's a very obvious play. Right now, in this climate on the conservative side of the ball, going against Israel is where the money is. Ask Candace Owens with the world's most popular podcast. Ask her. She'll tell you. I mean, if you're still living under a rock. But certain ones of us are so gullible, just the minute someone says anything that's even close to what we already believe, wow. Brain falls out their head onto the ground. Pockets open. Paychecks empty into their bank accounts. All this shit. It's like, we got to slow down. Slow down. Slow down. Make people prove it to you. Whether it's Marjorie Taylor Greene, AOC, whoever it is. Make them prove it to you. All right, let's keep going, family. Let me know what you think about this segment. My name is Tim Black. You're watching the most dangerous show in politics in America. Hit the like button if you like the content. Next.
Next on deck with Tim Black.
We don't have a message problem, we have a messenger problem, right? The future of the Democratic Party is going to be one that picks a side, right? And the side isn't, are we going to be the scary left? Are we going to be the center? No, the side is, are you going to be for the people or are you going to be for the special interest? Let's talk about what the Dem Party brand is going to be. I don't really care if you are a centrist. I do care if you are somebody who believes that a corporation has more right to be comfortable in the society, to be taken care of than working class people. And you cannot convince me that whether you are in the Appalachian Mountains or if you are in the Deep South or if you are, on the coasts, you can't convince me that people want corporations to have more rights, to have, more access to care than regular people. So we got to get rid of that one. I think that is the number one thing.
Next on deck.
You know what I've noticed? I've noticed that there is people know what to say and they know what people want to hear them say. And I know this Representative Summers Lee, I appreciate you saying some obviously things that other Democrats should be saying, but for whatever reason they won't say, and that's all good and sweet. Thank you for saying those things. I'm just a person that's way beyond just people saying things. It's like, what are we really going to advocate for? And until you are in the middle of it, until you're in the midst of it, until you got something to lose, no one really knows what you stand for. And it's been to my experience that even people that say the right thing, when they call themselves a Democrat, they tend to do the bidding of the Democrats. Because they are a Democrat. Birds with wings tend to fly. You might be able to teach a bird how to bark but when it's time, the wings will come out, they're going to start flying. Because that's what birds do. And, there's a story about a man who had a pet tiger, Siberian tiger, in his New York home. And he raised this tiger from an infant. Fed him from the bottle. Spent many days, months after months, this tiger in his apartment, gave the Tiger his own room. He had several animals in his house, in his three-bedroom apartment. He had all of these exotic animals that were against code. It's illegal to have a Siberian tiger, by the way. And one day he got into it. I think he had a cat or something. It was a stray cat that came to his door, and he welcomed the cat into his home. And the Siberian tiger looked at the cat like, who the hell is this? And that tiger went tiger. He attacked the cat. He couldn't catch the cat because his owner, the one that nursed him from the bottle, jumped in between them to save the cat and tried to stop him. And that tiger went tiger. That tiger pawed him and then clamped down on his leg and wouldn't let go. Sat there like that for a couple of minutes. And then suddenly came to his senses, ran into the bathroom and hid because he knew what he had done was wrong. At some point, the owner was able to motion to someone outside. Somehow, people became aware that something was going on in his house. And I don't know how that happened. Somehow someone found out. Cops came. There's a picture. You'll see a cop grappling down from the roof to the apartment building, and they hit the tiger with a dart. Shot him right in the ass. And they put the kitty to sleep. And then they were able to go in safely inside the apartment and get the kitty, get the man medical treatment, and take the kitty to a reserve where tigers are supposed to go. Because tigers aren't supposed to live in a rent-controlled apartment in Manhattan, no matter how nice you are. And for his good deed, that man has a permanent scar and 5 years in jail. 5 months. I think he got 5 months in jail. But who knows? He might not have got any time. Well, that got suspended sentence. Who knows? But the point of the story is, Tiger's going tiger. Tigers are going to tiger. And Democrats are going to Democrats. And I think us as Black Americans need to recognize that. And it doesn't matter if the Democrat is Black or white or Latino or Asian, Native American or LGBTQ or Muslim or Hindu or Christian or non-denominational or atheist, agnostic, or like Popeye's fried chicken or wouldn't touch the stuff. Vegetarian or vegan, doesn't matter. The operative word is Democrat. Both parties are a problem for us. Both parties. Neither party does the bidding of working class people. Let's just put that out there. Let's just admit it. Just take it, drink it. It's a shot of reality we all need to swallow. Take two. Both parties suck, Johnson. And once you accept that, realize that anybody who lines up behind Republicans or Democrats are not lining up behind you. Because at some point in time, they're going to have to choose, and they aren't going to be able to choose. It's not a choice. They are Democrats or they are Republicans. And at some point, that Democrat going to go Democrat. Or at some point, that Republican is going to go Republican. And you'll be lucky if you only get a scratch. If that makes sense, hit the like button, Johnson. If it makes a lot of sense, hit share. Because I think you ain't going to get this everywhere. This type of content, I don't think you get it everywhere, fam, because most people, they have future plans. And those future plans don't include continue to operate out of a bunker in their basement. But we don't give a shit about that, do we? My super strength is I'm not expecting anything to come out of this except continue to do what I do. So I'm beholden to you. All right, let's keep going, guys. Got a couple more things to get to. Shout out to my moderators, Black Mamba, Ebony, and Buck Bewley.
with Tim Black. Next on deck with Tim Black.
The Trump administration says the strikes are lawful because President Trump has determined
the cartels
that the United States is in a formal armed conflict
with the
drug
cartels.
What if you just out there fishing?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they just say, nah, that's a drug boat.
Do y'all really believe that they're just blowing up fishermen in Venezuela?
I think it's possible.
Come on, y'all.
Yes.
This is where you lose the plot.
This won't be the first time that the Trump administration has not measured twice to cut once.
Yeah, but this is
the same guy who's using Signal.
Yeah, but this is where you lose the plot, man. Like, this is what's going to happen.
Well, here's the thing. To your point.
It's like getting upset at Trump for renovating the White House. Like, there's all these people who've never even been in the fucking White House.
But listen, to your point, we can't say that they're not either, though.
I think it would be in the best interest of Hegseth and the administration to prove that there's fentanyl.
That's it.
That would be a very smart thing to do.
That's
100%.
That's the lawful, constitutional way of doing things.
It's not lawful or constitutional.
It's definitely lawful because it says illegal. If what you're doing is now being accused of being illegal.
No, what I'm saying is that, yeah, it's illegal. Like, just because they tell us doesn't make it lawful. Like, if you shoot...
But no, they have to.
You're both saying the same thing.
Lawfully they have to do it. They have to provide evidence.
No, before. The lawful way would do it before. There's no way that you can do that before. They're just shooting them with drones in the sky.
But they're saying that you're not even supposed to be doing that because these people don't pose any imminent threat. They're just you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but that's debatable because it's like if you're bringing fentanyl to the country, it's like that is an imminent threat.
Do you just blow up drug dealers
with
though?
all the technology?
I'm not saying that. Arresting, I would like some due process.
That's what I'm saying. With all the technology
due process
we have,
shit is crazy. It's like, that's the other thing. It's like, if you know that somebody is bringing death to your country, you have to give them due process. Like, should we have due process Pearl Harbor? Like, do we go, okay, guys, land the plane so we could give you a nice little court date and we can figure out.
Next on deck with Tim Black.
Yo, man. It's got to be rules that Democratic Party operatives got to wear Democratic Party jerseys. Yeah, Charlamagne, you got to go get your jersey and stop switching into different jerseys. You know, stop doing it, man. You're giving people whiplash. 1 minute you're Republican, next minute you're a Democrat. You're just all over the place with the talking points. It's like him and Stephen A. Smith went to the same school of not having a backbone for anything. Just whatever the wind blows on any issue. It's like you just flip a coin and say, what should I do? What should I say? Somebody tells you, you go, okay, that's what I'll say. If you consider how many clandestine operations the U.S. government runs via shadowy organization, alphabet soup organization, intelligence operations. This is nothing. The fact you even know about it, you should know it's bullshit. Because most of the things that we do that are covert, we never hear about. The fact you're even hearing about it, in my opinion, makes it very obvious it's just bullshit fodder cooked up by Democrats. Yeah, because we were doing some shit we don't want nobody to know, we just taking people out indiscriminately, it would not be publicized. I don't give a fuck if it is Donald Trump. That's just what it is. We get down like that. That's the thing. China's running laps around us right now, and all we got is the fact that we blow people up. We shoot people. That's our strong suit. That's what we're leaning into. That's what keeps our balloon from being popped. And that's just what we do. So, yeah. I mean, I like the Schultz pushback, but Schultz, I mean, better argument than Pearl Harbor. I mean, those are planes flying into our airspace. I mean, Gaslight, Red Herring, come on. So anyway, yeah. But look out, everybody. These are the thought leaders of the year 2025 of our Lord. These are our thought leaders. They're the ones that have been deemed. All right, let's keep going, Johnson. We're almost done here. Are you ready?
My male team are here
in Israel. And as I finish, I wanted to come back here to Israel and let you know that I serve you as the mayor, but I want to continue to have the title that's more important to me than anything. I'm your brother. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Tim Black's BS detector.
Tim Black's BS detector.
Tim Black's BS detector.
I just wanted black men to feel, like maybe they wanted to poke their eyes out with a skewer. You know what I'm saying? I mean, just rub a skewer through their ears. Listen to this guy shit on everything, shit on all black maleness. Jesus Christ. We don't get to choose who gets to be black men along with us. If we had an opportunity to choose who gets to be considered a black man, we'd have to take this guy out. Out of the lineup of black men, I should say. I mean, what a despicable thing to be, man. People said he was on a take. Now you see it, like, oh, super obvious. I mean, this guy's just like straight up hoe. Look at this. What is this? I want you to know I'm your guy. Don't punch me in the back of the head this time. Listen, guys, Adams is he was a horrible mayor because he's a horrible human being. He's only playing games, and everything was about lining his pockets. And I believe those are the things I heard about him, and I can't deny him. It's just what it is. And that's why I say, like, Zoran, like, who knows what he's gonna do. I wonder if he could be much worse than Mayor Adams as a human being. I don't know. What will his policies bring for New York? I'm not sure. But Jesus, this guy, I don't think you're going to have Zoran in going to Israel and making it that obvious he don't give a shit. That what comes first is not America. And that's part of the problem. So we have this black man who tried to run on being a cool black man who at the end of the day wasn't trying to put black America first in any way, shape, or form. At all. It wasn't about that work at all. And we had people that supported him. And that's why I was like calling that shit out. I was against him from the door. I saw through him from the door. And I wonder why other people could not see through him. And I think it was just people were just looking at opportunities because they knew he was corrupt that they could do together, business they could do together. And that's what it was all about. And that's sort of like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Trump and AOC and Pelosi. And as soon as people can accept these things, when you can accept that all three of those examples from Adams and Diddy, or Adams and Jay-Z, and Trump and Marjorie Taylor Greene, and Elon and Trump, and Biden and Kamala, and Biden and Pelosi and AOC. Once you can accept these relationships of convenience, built on corruption and fooling Americans, the scumbaggery of it all. Once you can accept that and you can look at it and not just look at the other side, but the side that you claim and see it. Until you can do that, you really are in a fog. Your criticism, though, you are entitled to it. Your freedom of speech gives you the right to criticize us and criticize me and all of us. But that shows you don't know anything. Because until you can call it out and see it regardless of what party they're on, what their nationality is, what their background, what their makeup is, melanated content or not, until you can do that, man, I think your voice is just, it's like chalkboards, fingernails down a chalkboard is what I'm trying to tell you. And it should not be considered as language, and damn sure not thoughtful. So be a hater, be angry, say a bunch of dumb shit and diss and hate all you want. But until you can recognize and deal with the pain of addressing and accepting reality that these people are not operating on our behalf, and the only thing that gets them to do what we want is pain. And when I mean pain, I mean force. Having to do it is the only reason why they're going to do it. This is what it is. I want to thank everybody who tuned in tonight. Remember, we'll be back tomorrow at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for more Tim Black Show, the most dangerous show in politics, right here live. Facebook, Kick, Rumble, YouTube, X. Yeah, that's all. That's 5 of them. Yeah. It's a lot of places, Johnson. Somebody's got to see us at some point. All right, guys. Have a great one. Thank you, moderators, for hanging in there as long as you could. Shows is a Looney Tune. He is. Yo, did anybody see Myron Gaines going against Akash from... Has anyone seen Myron Gaines? The Muslim dude? I guess he's Muslim. Anybody seen this thing? Pakistani? I don't know what Myron Gaines is. Him with beef with Akash from Flagrant, which is a sidekick or whatever with shows. Hey, look, I'm just going to throw this out there for people that are aware of it. There are things you say. Myron Gaines has had a lot of smoke, a lot of talk about Black Americans. And the rite of passage for these cornballs, these conservative types, is to go after Black Americans. And that's sort of like where the initiation is you have to shit on Black America. Kanye did it. Once he got his head right, he did it. Candace Owens did it. Charlie Kirk did it. Brandon did it. The Hodge twins, like a number of people. All these people, Nick Fuentes, all of them go after Black people. Myron Gaines, all of them. Tommy Sotomayor, all of them. All of them go after Black Americans. It is the initiation rite. But if you wanted proof that this guy is not, Myron Gaines particularly, is not a part of anything related to the American culture at all, he's not locked in, there's a place you don't go in America, in our culture, unless you want to end up in a serious beef. And this is beyond YouTube shit. When you go after someone's wife, publicly, in a certain way, and the people that know about this content know what I'm talking about, these are beyond just back and forth, trading insults. These are even beyond fighting words. It's how you get money put on you. And the fact that you are that dumb that you don't understand that, you are cosplaying as someone in line with the culture. No, what you are is a cartoon who just took the cheat code of shitting on Black Americans to kind of ingratiate yourself to conservatives. You need to shut the hell up forever. You are not a part of American culture at all, nor will you be accepted as such. And though you were willing to throw us under the bus as the pound of flesh to deliver us on the altar of conservatism and bigotry and Nazi-like, whatever that is, the people you wanted to rock with, this latest thing he did to Akash, and I'm just saying, I saw that, all I could think was, only a person who no one should ever give any credence to, any credibility whatsoever in their entire lives on how to conduct themselves or handle business, Myron Gaines sets himself apart as one of those people you should ignore at all costs. The worst decision I've seen on the internet in a long time. I mean, Jesus. You know if you know. If you know, if you know. You know, if you know, you know. You know what I'm saying? If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. I said that's all I got. Have a great day. Have a good Monday. I love you. I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow, Black Mamba. Thank you, DeAndre, Jarrell, Black Rose, Fearless Mind, Nene in the building, Elizabeth Lunny, the whole crew. That's all I got. Remember, don't let anybody take your cornbread. People got reasons for doing what they do. I know I do. I got 3 of them. Actually, I got 5. But here goes 3 of the reasons why I do what I do. My ladies. Where are my ladies? Where are my ladies? There they go. You know the deal. Independent black media stays unapologetic, raw, and real. Now you can wear the movement. From the 10 Black Wolf Pack to the Cornbread Collection. We got gear for the real ones. For men, women, even the little ones. No weak threads, no weak messages. Rep the truth. Rep the movement. Hit up 10blackpauls.com and grab yours today. Because cornbread ain't free. Wolfpack. This is the most dangerous show in America. The 10 Black Show. No masters, no middlemen.